quiet. Because if they find out you're home, this night could be your last. You were born in a small wooden house at the edge of a cotton field, Alabama, 1888. They named you Isaac. Your family has been free for more than 20 years, but freedom here is thin. Like an old board, it can crack at any moment. Your father was once a slave. He rarely talks about it, but sometimes in the evening, when he takes off his shirt after a long day in the fields, you see his back. Scars, long, white, crooked, like dried rivers on an old map. One day you ask him, "Did it hurt?" He looks at you for a long time. Then he says, "It did," and nothing more. Your house is small, 2 rooms, a kitchen and a bedroom. The floor creaks, the roof leaks after heavy rain. But your mother says you were lucky, because once your family didn't even have this. The land around your house isn't yours, you rent it. Every year you grow cotton, and every autumn the landowner comes with a large book. Inside the book are numbers. The numbers always say you owe more. You learn to work early, very early. At 7 years old, you walk into the fields with your father for the first time. The sun is just rising. Dew still sits on the cotton leaves. Your hands are small, but cotton doesn't care about the size of hands. It scratches everyone the same. By noon, your fingers are red. By evening, they're cut and bleeding. But you keep working, because everyone keeps working. Sometimes white boys ride past the road beside the field, on horses. They laugh. Sometimes they shout things. Sometimes they throw rocks. Sometimes they just stare, for a long time, too long. One day you ask your father, "Why do they look at us like that?" He answers, "Because they can." One evening, your father tells you something else. He sits on the steps of the house. The sun is already setting. The sky is red. He says, "Never argue with them." You ask, "Why?" He stays silent for a long time. Then he says, "Because the night is longer than the day." You are 10 years old when you first hear them. At first, it's just a sound. Hooves. Many hooves. A dull rhythm against the ground, like a drum. Your father quickly blows out the lamp. The house falls into darkness. Only thin moonlight slips through the cracks in the walls. He whispers, "On the floor." Everyone lies down. You, your mother, your sister, even your little brother. Through a crack in the wall, you see the road. First come the horses, then the riders. White robes, long, dirty at the edges. Hoods covering their faces, only dark holes for their eyes. They look like ghosts, but ghosts don't carry rifles. They stop at the house across the road. Mr. Henry lives there. He could read and write. He helped people fill out papers so they could vote. Sometimes he read letters out loud for people who couldn't read. One of the riders shouts, "Come out!" The door doesn't open, so they break it down. First you hear the then a scream, then another one. Your sister starts to cry. Your mother covers her mouth with a hand. You can feel her fingers trembling. A few minutes later, the riders come out again. They drag Mr. Henry with them. His feet scrape along the ground. He barely moves. They're not in a hurry. They know no one will come outside. An old oak tree stands by the road. A rope already hangs from a branch. You realize it was placed there earlier. The next morning, children find the body. The sheriff arrives, looks, shrugs, and leaves. Years pass. You grow taller, stronger. Your shoulders widen. Your hands grow rough from work. But the fear never disappears. It simply becomes familiar, like wind, like dust. You marry at 23. Her name is Lydia. She works in the kitchen of a white family. Sometimes she brings home leftover food. Sometimes she doesn't.
but she always brings a smile. You have a daughter. When you hold her for the first time, you feel a strange mixture, love and fear, because you know this world. You begin helping people learn to read in the evenings, quietly, in a small room of the old church. An old book, old pages. People learn slowly, but they learn. One day, an old man reads a word out loud, by himself, for the first time, and he starts to cry. But one evening, the church door suddenly swings open. A white man stands in the doorway. No hood, but the look is familiar. Cold, empty. He says only one sentence. We know.
A week later, a cross appears at night. Large, wooden, planted directly in the field. The cross burns, flames rise high. Yellow, the fire lights the cotton plants. Shadows dance across the ground. Horses stand nearby. White figures watch the house. You step onto the porch. Your hands shake, but you stand there. One of them says, "Stop." Another says, "Or the next rope will be for you." They ride away, but the cross keeps burning until it becomes a black skeleton. After that, many people stop coming to the lessons. Some families leave at night without saying a word. But you continue, because if you stop, they win. 2 years later, you ride to town to vote for the first time. You stand in line. White men stare. Some laugh, but you still drop your paper into the box. When you return home, the road is empty, too empty. Then the horses appear behind you. They knock you to the ground, kick you. Boots, rifle stocks. You hear the crack of your own ribs. When you wake up, it's already morning. The sun blinds your eyes. Blood has dried on your face, but you are alive. Years pass. Your back bends. Your fingers ache in winter. Work becomes slower, but your daughter grows. She reads better than you, writes faster. She says, "One day I will go north, where people can walk the streets without fear." You hope she is right. When you are 61, you hear hooves again one night, but they pass by, further down the road, to another house. You lie in the darkness, and you understand one thing. Fear grows old with you, but it never dies. You die in winter, quietly, in your sleep. Your life in numbers: 54 years working in cotton fields, 19 nights when riders came nearby, 3 broken ribs, 1 daughter who managed to leave. You gained a few things: a family, a home, a few years of hope. You lost many things: your health, your peace, the right to live without fear of the night. People like to talk about freedom. They write it into laws, on paper, with ink. But sometimes freedom is simply living long enough for the next generation to try again.